Hi, I'm Jackie Rabbit. Today I want to talk to you what it's like after 4 years of hormones, or HRT, and what the differences are when I started, what it was like in the middle, and what it's like now. There's a lot of differences, and things that I thought I understood that I clearly didn't, but now make much more sense to me, and I want to help you understand what that future looks like. Go give me a thumbs up, then subscribe, so you know when you're going to see the next video by clicking the little bell so you get the alerts the next time something pops up. Let's go talk about what it's like 4 years after starting my hormones. What were all of the changes that came along with it? What advice do I have for you? And what can you expect? Let's go talk about it. So what is it like 4 years later? It's been a long process for me, but in the span of a typical transition, 4 years is a pretty quick amount of time. And I know you think about, oh my gosh, that seems so far away. And once, on this very porch, many Christmases ago, I said the same thing to you. And here we are. Time goes by faster than you think it does. But in the world of hormone replacement therapy, or HRT, what do you expect? What do you know? What have you thought about? And what do you want? All of those things have a lot of different answers, but I'm going to share the experiences I've got so you know more about what it might be like for you. Now, I have shared everything because I'm 50, and there weren't a lot of women my age that I could relate to that explained things to me in a way that made total sense. I did see some great, really young women who were just gorgeous, but I couldn't relate to them at their age. I'm 50. I started in my 40s. So I decided I needed to be the girl that would share, and that's why I'm here today. Most of the comments, most of the questions I receive are about hormones and what they do and what they don't do for you. So I'll do my best to get it all nice and tight and succinct and give you some updates on what it's like at 4 years. So one of the very first things most trans women talk about are hormones. In fact, it's often the most important thing that they want to start with. And I will start by saying it is not the most important part of transition. It can be a component of transition, but it doesn't have to be the most important thing. Now, it does help us. It helps our bodies. It helps our psyches. I understand that. But where I'm going to start is what I want you not to do with hormones. The most important stuff here is what you should not do. There are a lot of products out there. They make a lot of claims, and they seem very convincing. There are also places that you could go buy seemingly normal, actual hormones, prescription strength, and it's tempting, isn't it? And I'm going to tell you all right now the only one way to do HRT, the only one way. Talk to your doctor, talk to your therapist, get with your endocrinologist, and come up with a plan that way. Do not self-dose. Period. End of story. I know I'm going to catch a little flack from some of you, but just understand it's coming from a good place. I don't want harm to come to you. I'm worried that you will fall into a trap that I myself fell into, and it almost hurt me. The end result could be a serious, life-threatening blood clot, and you don't want that. If you also have a blood clot, your endocrinologist will label you a blood clot risk. You are done being able to get HRT from your endocrinologist and your medical team. They won't help you after that point. The rare occasion may occur, but by and large, if you do self-dose, have a blood clot, you'll be labeled a blood clot risk by your doctor, and then you will not be scheduled for regular hormone replacement therapy because it's now a big risk to you, and it might be anyway. So that's the only way to start. I won't go any farther with that, but it's important to me that you stay safe. I made some mistakes. They almost bit me in the tail. Could have done worse, and I don't want that to happen to you. So once you've come out to your doctor, once you've talked to your therapist, once there's a plan in action and you've gone and seen your endocrinologist, there can be many ways that your endocrinologist starts you on this plan. And I need you to trust your endocrinologist. I know you're going to go out there and read a lot of things. Other places that you go, blogs that you read, people tell you their doses and everything else. Please ignore all of that. It is not for you. Everyone is different. Every single girl has a very specific and different need from the next girl. End of story. So don't listen to those things. Don't ask about dosages. They are not appropriate for you. They are only appropriate for that one person. The thing that you will start with, and the thing that most of us really find important in our lives, is hormone replacement therapy. Now, there's lots of other things along the process and course of transition, and I have had virtually all of them as I find them a tool in the toolbox, and if it's there, I'm going to use it. Give me a hammer, I'm going to swing it. Give me a saw, and I'm going to cut something. That's just me. Not everybody needs all that remodeling. I felt I did because the dysphoria was so strong. Dysphoria is one of those things that creeps up on you. In the beginning, you realize, yeah, this is important, and the dysphoria is making me feel a certain way, and it gives me a lot of insecurity, and you seek out things to make you feel more confident and get rid of those insecurities, or at least diminish them so you can live normal. That's true for me too. And surgery was a tool in the toolbox. I had dysphoria. It affected me heavily, and I really wanted to do something about it. So I dove in. And for me, it was appropriate. So I've been through facial feminization surgery, vocal feminization surgery, top surgery for breast augmentation, bottom surgery for vaginoplasty. And I will be doing other things, and I've talked about it in the past. I could really use the entire tummy tuck, which is definitely something that I will do. I would love to bring the excess skin under my chin up and have a bottom half facelift. I will most likely do that too, but that's a future thing, right? As you progress through these things, for me, that last one specifically, that's an age-related, vanity-style thing. This won't feminize me, but it will take off a few years, and that's just for me. So there comes this point where it's not dysphoria, but just something you want for you, and you have to delineate between the two and give it some real thought, because sometimes in the beginning it is hard to determine one from the other. And for me, there was a point in the past where I would have told you that bottom half facelift would have been feminizing. And now my mind has changed. After the course of time, I realize that's just for me. That's a cosmetic thing that I want for me. Shave off some ears. And it's important, if I want it and I have the ability, that I should somehow plan to do these things. And that goes back to all of the tools in the toolbox. If surgery is right for you, then make plans. Do the appropriate things. Talk to your doctors and make sure that there's a way for you to put that plan in action. It's not always easy depending on where you live. And where I live, it was very, very easy. Northern California has a lot of things in place. Kaiser took care of me, and that is my fortunate of regional locale. Not everyone's that lucky. However, I have found that if you really search your plan and you talk to your doctors, you may find out more things are available to you than you thought they were, because I had to do all the same things. And even when the other doctors, my therapist and others, said, I don't believe those are available, when I dug in, I found out, lo and behold, they were available. So I definitely encourage you to go do your research with your medical plan. There might be more things there than you think. Let's get back to hormones. So hormones in the beginning for me were the most important part. That was in my mind. I realize now, looking back, they were nowhere near as important as I thought. And that only comes with 4 years of extra wisdom. Now that I'm over 50, I can look back and see some things I didn't see when I was headlong, faced up with them, and running through the fire to make this happen for myself. Good things can happen if you wait. Good things can happen if you do things the right way. And as I pointed out, a blood clot is not a good thing, but a very bad thing, and could really mess up your chances of getting the HRT you want from your medical team. So in the beginning, hormones did make changes very quickly. I definitely felt things in the breast area. There was a lot of discomfort, and we go through a process of the ouchies, as there is painful breast growth, but you do get through that. It just takes time, but it is definitely not pleasant as you pass through it. Going on hormone therapy also brought on a lot of changes in my body chemistry, and hot flashes, while my body found its way, were definitely part of that, and they're not comfortable either. But you can make it through it, and with time, things level out. I also found I had a tremendous amount of brain fog, and that was difficult. Then I realized my brain was reacting to the world differently. Girl brain. And I talked about that in an old video. And that was difficult to make my way through. Now that's how I operate, and I have learned to work within those parameters, and it's fine for me, just like it is every other woman on the planet. You get used to it. There are advantages, there are disadvantages, but the good outweighs the bad. So the pro list is far better than the con list, and I'm glad that I took that pathway and kept going. Persistence is how this works. And not taking hormones won't wreck your persistence and your progress. As you enter some of your surgeries, you are told to go off your hormones, and you should absolutely listen to your doctor. Yes, it's like throwing you into a mini menopause, and it will make you feel a little moody, and things will be a little different, but you will get through it just fine. There is no reason you should worry. You won't revert, you won't fall back, your hair won't change. Nothing's going to throw you backwards. You just are pausing the hormones. Everything stays kind of the same. You go through a little bit of a mood swing and you move on. And that's all that you have to worry about. So don't worry about those types of things where you're on or you're off, or the strength. Some girls worry about, I need to be at the highest level available for me to have this work properly. I don't think that's true. I am running a rather low dose right now, and I feel fine. And lately, I've had the most changes physically than I had in the first 3 years. So much has changed for fat redistribution and facial features that this last year alone has had so much more occur than the first 3 years of hormone therapy where my doses were higher. So don't worry about dosage levels. Just get one that works for you and keeps you level. Your endocrinologist will help you with that. Don't worry about being as much as you can get. More isn't better. Correct is what you need. Correct is safe. And sometimes for women our age, a lower dosage at this age is normal. So right now I'm pretty much normal for my age at my dosage level, and I'm perfectly content with that. So don't worry about how much. Just worry that you're doing what your endocrinologist has prescribed and stick with it. This is something that happens over time, not a blast. It doesn't happen in 1 year, 2 years, or even really 3 years. I mean, we're talking 7 to 12 years. The average female matures over that span from adolescence to adulthood. So will you. It takes some time. And give yourself the time to realize those changes, because they will come. Some people get a little more, some people get a little less, but you will notice the changes. I want to talk about a subject on that with the fat redistribution that I didn't touch on before, and that is the difference between male fat and female fat. Males have more internal, beyond the fascia, under the muscles, inside their body fat. This is a very different case with females who have it externally. So the difference is females have their fat externally on the outside. Males tend to accumulate it on the inside where the organs are. There's a lot of medical terms, and I won't even bother going over them because they're just words that mean what I'm going to tell you. Internal fat or external fat. That's something I didn't really know until more recently. So as you look at things, your body starts changing from an internal pattern to an external pattern. And that has absolutely happened to me. I mean, I can tell you all of the stuff in the middle eventually started melting away until I had a waist. And I have definitely added to the hips, the thighs, the backside, all of that. Even my facial features and my cheeks have definitely seen that change for the external style of body fat versus visceral or internal body fat that is a more male pattern. That again takes time. And as I go through the next 4 or 5 or 10 years, those changes will keep going. They are progressive, gradual, but they do happen. And I am very content with where I am physically. Hormones have done me just fine, and I honestly believed that wasn't going to happen. So put that out of your mind, give yourself time, take it one day at a time. This will eventually get you where you need to be. The big part of hormone therapy is just to put you where you need to be as a woman. And if you're older, like me, you won't need an enormous amount. More hormones won't overtly feminize you. It doesn't force your body to do anything. It simply puts your body in the mode that it would have been had you been born female at the point you start. Now, granted, it's said often that younger girls do so much better and older girls don't have quite as big a result, and I believe that is true. But I also don't think that the statements about if you're over 20, if you're over 30, if you're over 40, pick your number, that the hormones don't do anything to you physically. That's absolutely false. Take a look. I started at 46. There is no doubt in my mind hormones have done everything I needed them to do. I feel completely appropriate for my size and my age. Absolutely did what I wanted them to do. Surgery did the rest because that's what I chose. Some may need more, some may need less. For me, it worked. The other thing I want to actually drive home here is safety. And I know I started with safety, but I want you to realize if you don't do it correctly in the beginning, you won't get to finish. And you want to be able to go through the entire process and finish. It's a marathon, not a sprint. And you're going to get there. Don't worry about the big details. Worry about the day-by-day steps that get you where you need to be. That's how you will finish this race. And it's one that you'll be on for quite some time. I'm still on it, but I am here, and you can be there too. Remember, it starts with the first step of talking with your doctor and continuing on down the path. Girls like myself will show you what that path looks like so you can visualize for yourself what your future might hold. Remember, I really care how this works out for you. I want you to understand it matters. You need to see something so you can hold on to a future for yourself. I needed it too, and that's why I'm sharing today. Take care of yourself and know that it matters. I'm here for you too, and I want you to get through it day by day. Just get to tomorrow and you'll be doing fine. You will be shocked how fast the end of this process can get if you put your effort towards it every single day. Take care of yourself. I'll see you next time. Bye. Recently, I went with friends to go to a vegan place that served this amazing pizza, and I was so excited. I just kind of eat vegan by accident, but I love it. It's like a fantastic cuisine. And as we all ordered our pizzas, they were calling us by name as we waited outside. All of my friends had their pizzas, and I did not, and I wanted it. And I kept waiting, and my friends were pushing me in the shoulder, and I'm looking at them, and I'm waiting, and they're pushing me in the shoulder, and then I realized, as my friend says, your pizza's ready. I'm like, they haven't called my name. And she sticks her hands up and goes in there to get my pizza because they were calling my old name, and I've so disassociated with it that I wasn't hearing it, and I was waiting for them to say Jackie. But my credit card, my fault, still has the old name. That's why they were calling it. And I completely disassociated with my old name, and I never even heard them calling it. That's where you get to eventually, even if it's inconvenient.